Hello, I'm Luke Hatfield. I'm joined by Shrewsbury Town correspondent at the Shropshire Star on this transfer deadline day number one, Mr. Lewis Cox. Lewis, how you doing?
Not bad, Luke. Thanks. Yeah, it's been a long day to say the least. Obviously, it's it's like 8 o'clock now. A few hours left till the 11 o'clock deadline. Obviously, Town got going early this morning at like 10 a.m. So it's been a long day to say the least. But we're near the end of it, thankfully.
Yeah, we are.
How are you, Luke?
I'm not bad. I'm not bad. Thanks for asking.
Pleasure, mate.
You were right. You said Shrewsbury Town started early. They sure did, didn't they? We saw two come in, of course. Give the watchers, those viewing this video, a little bit of a heads up on who they are.
Yeah, first of all, I think they started early because they were aware I was working on a late shift. So I think that's what happened there. But we had two loan signings before 11 o'clock this morning. The first of which we'll start with Matt Miller, who was sort of on the radar anyway. He's an Australian, so there were reports in the Australia press for about a month now that Shrewsbury were interested in a possible loan for him. I think Portsmouth were the other English club mentioned, and obviously that his move, being an Australian, coming from Australia directly, via Newcastle Jets on loan, was obviously subject to tonight's deadline. So he had to, his move had to be finalised today, and obviously he's checked in on loan until January. He's a 24-year-old right back, managed in Newcastle Jets by Carl Robinson, who's a former Town midfielder, former Wolves midfielder, played for Wales. So Sam Ricketts knows of the manager out there. Bit of a left field move, isn't it? Bit random, seemingly out the blue. The lad's never played in England before, but he's come through the ranks in the Australian leagues and done really well by all accounts. Got a lot of positive traits about him in terms of being physical, being solid defensively, being a real threat going forward. Good size in the box for set pieces, a long throw. So he's a positive, slightly left field addition, but I'm looking forward to seeing what he's about. Like I say, a loan until January. Is the initial deal. I do understand that there could be something sort of further down the line more permanent with that, but we'll have to wait and see. And could make his debut tomorrow night. We've got a home EFL Trophy game against Bolton. Obviously fans won't be at, but they can follow our coverage. You might get a glimpse of him, but yeah, as I say, we knew about him, and obviously they managed to get him in and fly him 30 hours from Sydney before the deadline, thankfully.
Yeah, and then of course another one in from a little bit closer to home this time. Brentford.
Yeah, a little bit closer to home, but still a bit of an element of the going continental. This one is Jan. Let me just get this right because it's been pestering me all day. Jan Zemberek. I'm not too sure on the pronunciation, to be honest. That's the first time I've had to say it out loud, but typing it has caused me a bit of grief today. He's a 19-year-old Czech Republic central midfielder on loan from Brentford. Very highly rated. Really looking forward to this one, actually. He's, 19, meant to be a ball-playing sort of central midfielder, likes to keep possession, keep things ticking over, and creative, actually. More of a number 8 or a number 10 even than, certainly forward-thinking than a deep, more sitting midfielder, the likes of a Walker, Goss, Norban. More forward-thinking, creative about him. So something Town were lacking and wanted to get in terms of being creative from midfield, being able to unlock doors and chip in with assists and more goals as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he's about, actually. Yeah, comes with rave reviews from Brentford. Played 21 times, I think, for Thomas Frank's first team, including in their promotion push as a sub in the Championship. I think they gave him a new 4-year deal last year, just 12 months ago, which for a club like Brentford, who know how to produce players, obviously, that says a lot. And, I think he's played twice in the EFL Cup with them this season. He will bring, that sort of, I don't say X factor, but that quality on the ball, that ability to see a pass or unlock a defence that maybe Town didn't have. So I think they're really excited about that one. And we've seen some great loans here, haven't we, over recent years at Shrewsbury. And I think this has got all the potential to possibly be another.
Yeah, it certainly is promising, isn't it? Lewis, what have you made of the window as a whole so far? Because obviously, they've still got a couple of weeks to wrap up deals, haven't they?
Yeah, it's like the pre-deadline day that isn't really the deadline day, isn't it, for Shrewsbury in the EFL today? Bit of an interesting situation. Obviously, the domestic deadline, where you can buy and sell and loan between English clubs, runs till October the 16th. So still a good, less than just under a fortnight to go there, and it's been a busy window, to be honest. I probably always expected it to be. You always expect 5 loans. There is now 6 through the door. Obviously, you can only play 5. I believe that's 8 or 9 all told in terms of through the door, and I don't think Sam Ricketts is quite done. As far as I understand, as I've been saying throughout the day, they had one more possible target they were looking at before tonight's overseas deadline. They want to stock up at left back. They only have Scott Goldborn through the door, and that is probably, given the 8 or 9 they've got in so far, the only position they still need to sort of finalise to add more competition to left back. Bit of competition for Goldborn. Could be still in the market for a replacement, sort of backup competition in goal after Mateo Sarkic's injury, just to sort of keep Harry Maguire on his toes. Bit of backup there, and possibly another wide forward, but certainly a left back. What is it, 8 o'clock now? I think, if there were to be a left back arrive before 11, I wouldn't be overly surprised. Busy window. They had a solid base to build from in terms of players in the building who were under contract, but it hasn't stopped Sam Ricketts from going out and bringing players into the club. A lot of loanees. They've got loans from Fulham, Tottenham, Huddersfield, Wolves, Brentford, and Australia now, all over the place. Not many permanents. Is that a sign of the COVID times? You could say maybe, couldn't you? The likes of Josh Daniels coming in on a permanent, and Pike, and I'll think of the other one in a second. Certainly those two. So I think Town have covered all the bases that they need to, and look to add the sufficient quality into the squad. Maybe light in a couple of positions still, but if we're having this conversation on October the 16th, I'd expect them to be stocked up there. Leon Clark, of course, is the other permanent. Easy to forget. Coming in from Sheffield United, obviously a big recruit, that one, in terms of his experience and everything that comes with that. I think Sam Ricketts will be pleased with the, you never get everyone you want, but with the balance of what he's got, there's certainly a load of pace. There's a big shift in terms of turnaround in focus, in terms of the quality of player, in terms of the traits that a player brings, the athleticism, the mobility. There's a real emphasis on bringing in players that can shift, players that can move, let's say young, mobile, can get up and down the pitch, and they've done that. We've seen that, but obviously starts the season hasn't been as everyone would have hoped and liked. No wins in the 4 league games, but there've been encouraging signs, and I think it's sometimes worth remembering it's been a big shift this summer in terms of a whole new formation and style, and it's not going to happen overnight, and there's a lot of new faces in, and we're currently all over the place, aren't we, with fitness availability, COVID issues in the squad. So, it's hard to really assess how things are before the proper deadline, which is still in a couple of weeks, as we say. But certainly a shift in terms of the style of player that have come in. You look at Josh Daniels, Marlon Fossey, Shiloh Tracy, we haven't seen yet. The likes of Miller, Scott High, who's done very well. Young, mobile, athletic, quick players that add a bit of tempo about the squad, something a bit different. And I like to think that that's all going to come through and come good in time this season. Certainly we need, obviously such change takes time over the long term, but in the short term they need results. Sam Ricketts obviously needs victories in League One. No game this coming weekend, so a bit of time to bed down on the training ground at Sundowne, and hopefully get the lads working together. But yeah, it's been an interesting window. Some left field additions, some high profile additions, some young players who've come in and done really well already. Really excited to see what Matt Miller and Jan Zemberek are about. Two signings who I think captured the imagination of Town fans today, and have said the right things today. Said they want to build on Ricketts's and Town's new attacking style, and add to that, and I'm sure both of them will, to be honest. I think those two are certainly coming in to have a big impact on the Town 11. I think it won't be long, if not straight away tomorrow night, we see them at right back in central midfield in the first 11 and having an impact. I don't think these are players who are going to be squad players coming from the bench. I think these are going to be key signings, key players that can have a big part to play this season, and I'm looking forward to see how they do, to be honest.
Yeah, so a busy old transfer window, and it could get a little bit busier for Shrewsbury Town with them weeks rolling on up until that second deadline. But for all the reaction to transfer deadline day number 1, you know where to go, shropshirestyle.com.